And hello everyone, welcome back to a new video. So today we'll be creating a bulk file renamer. If you want an example of just exactly what we'll be creating, here I have a couple of images. As you can see, their names are just numbers and very random. Then here I have a file or a Python code, and if I just run that, you get a little pop-up here that says bulk renamer. Here we can put the text in it if we want. So if I want to go image, number, and then I can just say select directory. And my directory, where that currently is, if my things don't want to go like that, is in documents, trash, to, and images. So if we can just bring this here to the side so we can see it. Then I can just say OK, and it has selected it, and there it tells me exactly where. So home, next to documents, trash, to images, and you can come from there. If I say bulk rename files, then boom, they've all been renamed. And here it gives you a little pop-up, and boom. So as you can see, it's image number 9, 10, and it just goes on. So that's what we'll be creating. And here is my folder. I just have a backup images, so I don't have to, so I can show you from the actual beginning. Here I have a main.py file, and here we can just copy these backup images into the normal images one, and I was hoping it was going to overwrite them, but it's fine. Okay, so there we go. So let's create that. Now I already have the file open, so whoops, here we go. As you can see, there's my backup images, and there's the file. Okay, so let's go here and start working. So first of all, we'll need to use TKinter. You can use whatever you like to, but I like to use TKinter because it's just very quickly, and it's not about the design, it's about what's going on in the back end. So I'm going to say from TKinter import everything. So I want to import file, dialog, and message box. So then first thing we want to do is we want to design everything. So we can say root is equal to, new keyboard, is equal to tk, and then root dot title, and we want to make that equal to whatever you want, but I'm going to say bulk renamer. Let's just get everything on the screen. So root.main loop. Do that, run it, and make sure everything works. And here we go. So now we are ready. First we want to create a label. So I'm just going to create a label. I'm not going to plop it anywhere. So if you run this, we should get a readable output. As you can see, there we go. So select directory is none. There we can add a new name, put in some text, select directory, and then bulk rename files. Of course, you can change this to maybe sit a bit more to the side, make them cover maybe more space. But I'm not going to spend too much time on that. I want to get to the back end, to the coding. So once we have done that, we can create the functions we need. So first off, we need to create a function that can get the current path to where we want it. So if you just run it again, if someone clicks on this, we should be able to get the path from that. There's multiple ways to do it, but I would like to just use a label. So I'm just going to say dir path. I'm going to make that equal to just an empty string. You could just use a normal string, or you can use a global variable and put everything there and whatnot, but I would prefer not to. So then we can create a function, if I can just type, and this function can be called get dir because it gets the directory. and we can then pass in the directory path and a label for the directory. So dir path and then lbl entry, lbl dir. This dir path right here is from there. So then we want to get dir path at index 0, so the first index. That's all what we're ever going to change and mess with. So you can add more directory paths if you want to bulk name files in multiple directories at once. You can do that then. And we're going to say file dialog, and we're going to say .ask directory because we want to get the directory. And it's going to save it inside of dir path. And then we can go lbl dir.destroy, and that will destroy this label that asks for the directory because we want to rewrite it. So then we can say lbl dir is equal to label root and text. We can make that equal to an f string selected dir, and right here we can say dir path at index 0. Then we can say lbl dir dot grid, and we can just give it a row, or we can actually just copy this because it's going to be a lot of effort if we have to redo all of that. And yeah, in fact, we don't need a pad X anymore. I think after we added some extra detail, or we can keep it there. We can actually keep it there, and you can say just column span is equal to 3. Anything from 3 and up should be fine. Actually 2 and up should be fine, but I'd go anything from 3 and up. Once you have done that, we can run the program, and if we say we haven't done anything, we can actually just go here and add it to commands. So here to where it says select directory, we want to add a command. So command, and we want to make it a lambda command or a lambda function, and it is going to contain get directory with the directory path and label directory. So get directory, and we can say dir path and lbl dir. Then once we've done that, we can run it. So here we go. We can say, or just select directory, go to images, then say OK, and there we go. It has been added. Now I want to be able to rename all the files in bulk. So for this, I would recommend we import the OS, because we'll need to be using that to rename things. So import OS. Then here we can say define, and we're actually just create a function. Bulk rename, and this will take in text and path, and it should not be bulk, it should be bulk. So we can first set file num equal to 1 or 0, whichever you prefer. Unlike my files starting to count from 1. Then you want to check if text, so if there is something in text, then we want to do something. Else, we want to throw up an error message. Okay, so now that we can do that, we can say if path at index 0 actually has something inside of it and not just an empty string, do something. Otherwise, we want to do the same thing, but just with a different message. Okay, and now we can start working with the really fun things, the really fun part of doing things. So we can start a for loop, so for file in os.list_dir, and we can just say path at index 0. So it's going to list all of the files inside of that directory. And then we want to create a variable f, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to say os.path.split text, and I'm going to say file, because we want to get the split text, the name and the extension, because we want to keep the extension the same, we just want to change the name. So file ext would then be equal to f at index 1. Of course, you could have just ignored f entirely and just put a 1 here. That would work perfectly fine as well, if you want to spare some extra memory or whatnot. But yeah, then we can say new file name, and this will return the extension. The one at index 0 would be the file name. And then we can say new file name is equal to, and then f string, the name that was given, so that would be text, space, or without a space, whichever you prefer, file number, and then the extension. Alright, they want to get the path and the name of the original file. So orig file, original file, and that can be path at index 0 plus a / plus the file. So like it would be here, and I will get that file and we'll put it there. So it would be the path that was entered by the user for the dialog, and then it will put a / after that path, and then it would put that file name there. And then we want to go new file is equal to path at index 0 plus a / plus, and you want to say new file name. Then you want to start renaming them, because now we have the new file name, which is here. So we have that. So what we can do is we can say os.rename, and we want to say original file, and then new file. So I will rename this to that, and then file num, we want to add 1, because otherwise they will all have the same number, and we don't want that. And there you go. We have basically created the entire program. We just have to add the command. I'm just gonna copy that and go here to rename, and just say comma v. Instead of get name, it's going to be bulk rename, and instead of dir path, it's going to be ent underscore name dot get, because we want to get the text from there. And then here we just want to say dir path, so we're going to pass in that. If you don't want to use path 0 here the entire time, you can just pass in path 0 here. But that's optional. And if we run this, let's make sure everything works. So if I say bulk rename files without anything, it says please fill out new name field. Okay, I'm going to fill out new name fields, bulk rename, now directory / folder selected, and then we can select the directory / folder. Let's try it out. Here we have our images, which we are going to rename. And I want to rename them all to lol, or to wallpaper, because let's say I want to use them as a wallpaper. And I can select the directory, which is going to be this image one right here. So that would be a set of images and bulk rename. And boom, there you go. All of them have been named wallpaper 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 14. And their extensions have been kept as they were, even this one that had the capital case extension. And that is how you create a bulk renamer with a GUI with using TKinter and Python. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all again in the next video.